Hello everybody. Last time we saw how to create a project using Logic Circuit Simulator Pro, and that was some time ago. So last time we saw about the various departments, how we can produce all the various department ICs and other things. Today I have a whole list of other things. Okay, let's go. What are LED matrix demo? So this is a kind of LED matrix which you can give a demo on how to do an LED matrix and how LED matrix can be used in display boards and other things. This is a button demo where you can have buttons, punch buttons kind of things, where you can use control structures for those, and then use them as a kind of lighting, or make control of your vehicles and other things. So button demo is a kind of like button press. You can do a security lock of your uh, a scooter, bike, etc. So those kind of things. This is like a button demo. Okay, RGB light demo. So you have different kinds of light that's coming in. So LED demo, which you can do it. Okay, for showcasing some of the lights, display lights on their display board, or you can do it on your home entertainment kind of systems, and then flashback systems, those kind of things. Okay, this is a counter demo, so you can just go up to count of binary to decimal count, and you can just convert from the binary to decimal immediately, and you can do the display of things. Okay, so if you want to do a counting, if you don't know what a 100010 means, it immediately give you the answer for those things. So you can easily display the answer, and you don't have to do a uh, calculation for those things. So you produce a chip, it will do the calculation for you. It's just an ordinary counter. So what it's going to do is any kind of binary and other things you see anywhere, and you want to do a decimal conversion of that, then you can easily do it. Similarly, decimal conversion into binary, you don't know what is a gigabit, megabit, petabit, and things like that. So those things can be done immediately, and then you can do a display of those things. That is called a F0 counter demo. Okay. Indian Electricity Board. Okay, Indian Electricity Board has a huge number of array of electricity circuit simulation and other things. So the whole thing can be stored in an IC kind of stuff, and then you can use it for your personal wherever you go. You know where are the electricity boards and where are the electricity locations and other things, so that you can be very careful. So while high voltage area, those kind of things. Similarly, those kind of ICs can be developed, and that kind of real time systems, you can use it for kind of not going to certain places, and what is the kind of traffic it will be, and those kind of control structures can be used, and you can put it on an IC, and the electricity board can use them to find out how to deploy some of the electricity from one place to another place and things like that. Okay, signals is normally signals. You can do any kind of signaling. Okay, for planes, flight signaling, traffic signaling. Then you can have home entertainment signaling, or other kinds of signaling, which you can use for any kind of purposes. Those kind of things can be used. Okay, and even for transfer of byte data, encrypted data, those things also you can use it for signaling, or remote communication, those kind of signals, like RF, microwave, and other microwave signaling also can be done. And what is the kind of signaling you can do? Voice signaling, data signaling, things like that. And what are the structures within them, and how we can transfer the things, how can we do a fast Fourier transform and things like that. Okay, electricity meter reader at IC. Okay, so these are kind of people who go to every electric board, and then you make a jot out of things and things like that. So you can just punch in the electricity meter, immediately it gives you the amount and other things, and it makes a bill for you, like a ticket counter checker and things like that. Okay, you can adapt it to anything you want. You can make your own ticket collection kind of thing, or if you're going to make any kind of collecting work and other things. This is specifically for electric meter reading. So you get the meter, and then immediately you get what is the amount we have to pay, and where is the location and things like that, and how much each one has to pay on accumulated kind of thing, and those kind of things. So meter reader can use this kind of ICs to do the thing, like ticket counter, like ordinary ticket counter, uses a punch hole kind of things. He produces all the tickets, 5 rupees, 10 rupees tickets, while you go on a bus or something like that. So those kind of things. Similarly, the electricity meter can be used. You can have specific ICs for that, and you can use them as a kind of standalone, kind of small bit pocket calculators kind of thing. But they are not calculators, except that they have some kind of encoding, data entry, and other things which you can do. And you can get the pricing, ticketing, and other things. So if you want to do a special menu of kind of items in your thing, and you want to do a scan of those things, scanning is usually used. But sometimes if you want to do the actual calculation and other things, then you can usually do it. Every zone has got specific area. Okay, for Tamil Nadu you have different kinds of zones, areas, and other things. So Madurai is another specific area where you want to do a collection bill, EB bill, and other things, those kind of things. Road transport is another thing where you can use all the things. Then IC elements we saw already, the different kinds of things. Okay, Cisco routers, and I'm not going too far into how to build a Cisco router and other things, but later we'll see how to build switches, gateways, hubs, concentrators, and things like that, and then we can do it. Or AA elements also you can build using these kind of Circuit Simulator Pro. And AI is still emerging, and it's quite difficult to just come out with certain kind of structural elements straight away. Right now, it's the circuit learning capacity is not there. So once you design a particular chip which can do the learning by itself, then it becomes automated, and you can have artificial intelligence. The learning curve is like you have to induce all the things, the kind of circuit, and you have to create that zonal area, and you can specifically find out how to make an intelligent move and other things, and those kind of things. You can just create networks for those things, and networks, and you can use chips and kind of adapters and other things which will do the AI for you immediately. So you just carry a chip in your cell phone, and you want to do an intelligent guess of certain things, then immediately it gives a pricing and other things. So some kind of intelligent derivative, and you just always win the game with the kind of things you want to do. Okay, so some kind of intelligent solutions. You don't have a solution, it just gives you the intelligent solution of what to do. Okay, and things like that. Okay, say you have a set of wooden cut pieces or something like that, and you have hacks and other things, then you just take it within the camera. The AI circuit display makes an intelligent guess on how to make a box or something like that, how to fold a box and things like that. Okay, I see. But DLAS 23 we already saw. Okay, today we are going to go specifically into last time we saw what are different kinds of routing, topology routings, like ring structure, line star structure, and ring star, and linear structure or bus structure. So those three things will be used for everywhere, wherever you go, instead of if you want to learn new things. Okay, these are the basic structural topology. Or even within a organization, you can use the structural topology. These structural topologies are used wherever you go, but to synthesize any kind of meeting, to say, if you do a boss management, if you do a kind of other kinds of management work, those things can be topology routing can be done. And even in some cases, like if you want to do routing of some of the goods, materials, and other things, you can do topology routing kind of things. And basically it just has three kind of structures, and those three kind of structures can be reduced to anything you want, and the shortest path and other things can be found, and things like that. Okay, some kind of spanning tree is just usually for star kind of topology, but other kinds of topology, ring topology, and other things can be used to come to conclusions of what is shortest and things like that. Okay, register, remember, IC processing, microprocessor IC tunneling. Okay, now we are going to processor out. Okay, last time we saw how to build a processor. This time we are going to see a memory kind of thing. Okay, memory kind of unit. Okay, how to build a memory kind of unit. Okay, now I am going to give a single bit memory, single bit memory. Okay, so this is the display of single bit memory. Let's check in what is a single bit memory. Basically, a single bit memory is something like this. Okay, it's got a D flop, it has got a SR flop, it has got a SR gated latch. Sorry, everything is a latch. Okay, first thing you have to know in case of memory unit, you have to use your latches only. Latches are kind of slow, but kind of like they are mostly used. Okay, first thing you have to know why we have connected like this. Okay, D is the D latch, which is kind of like hold the kind of control within the structures and things like that. So it is able to hold a particular data bit in one particular state. Okay, the SR latch is a kind of like a bit higher level, where it is kind of hard ground kind of thing, so it can store information quite a long time. So D latch is a little bit slower, but you can just easily access it to do a latching, or kind of like a toggling switch and other things you can easily use and do a latch on D. Okay, SR itself you can do it. SR it is a bit higher level, where it is able to store the information for quite a long time. Now if you want to take out anything from SR latch, then you have to use SR gated. Okay, this SR gated is a kind of temporary memory kind of thing. Okay, so first it is a kind of hardcore SR, then after that you have the data latch, then SR gated, which gives us some kind of soft memory onto from SR, and JK is the final thing, which is a kind of really fast bit element. Okay, JK is the final thing which has the actual data source. That is why we have coupled all these four together. So don't think that okay, I can just use JK and do it, and or SR I can do it. SR latch is enough, or JK latch is enough, or SR gated is enough. It just all depends on how much of flexibility you want to do with the memory location and other things. Okay, how fast you want to access, what is the kind of elements you want to integrate, and is it okay to integrate four latches together and then use it kind of every time, and how to do a faster flip flop. If you want to read or something like that, you need a JK latch. Okay, and if you want to write something, then you need a SR gated to write something. Okay, when you need so when you are writing something, SR gated is used. When you are reading something, JK latch is used. SR gated lab is the one which is a kind of writing kind of thing, and for that once you are doing writing, you have to give the voltage level higher up, so that you can write it on D latch and SR latches. That is why we have memory bit somewhat like this. Okay, this is one single memory bit which we want to test out. Okay, so we put the latch high, so we go on here, we put the latch high and we turn it on. There's nothing coming in. Okay, now I turn it off, I put on the lights, then there's nothing coming in. So those kind of things. Okay, so this doesn't have a toggle or timing. Okay, because there is no clock with the D latch, it doesn't turn on or turn off. Okay, so this is enough for today. This is the kind of circuitry which you have to design. Okay, this is the kind of circuitry. If you want to see it really close up, this is the kind of circuitry you want to use. This will help you in kind of designing your memory unit. So this is one single bit memory unit. This you have to understand. Okay, now we go back and we see how other circuitries are made. Okay, how do you test this circuitry whether it is working or not? That is a separate demonstration. Okay, that you have to check in. How these connections are made, why are these connections made, that I told you already. D is a slower element, SR is a still slower element. SR gated is the one used for writing and things like that, to make the voltage higher and things. JK is the one which is very fast flip flop, so you can do a reading very easily. That is why we use four things to do a memory location kind of thing. Okay, another one is once you have designed this kind of a bit of array, then you know that it is a single bit memory unit, and you can use it as soft memory or hard memory and kind of things. Okay, now we are going into other things. Okay, we are going out. That is single bit 8-bit memory we saw. Now we are going into testing 8-bit. We have to have memory IC single bit, then memory IC 8-bit. So once you are done with the single bit, Then we want to know how to design a 8-bit structure. Okay. Now for 1 bit, we saw all the things, contents of the elements, what was there inside. We have put it, the whole thing into an IC. Okay. That 8-bit, we have put it in an IC, and has got 3 input on the left and 1 output on the right. Okay. So a single IC will look somewhat like this. You have a reset, you have a clock output going in, then you have a D2 and a data in, and then you have a clock kind of thing, circuitry, and this is the kind. So a single bit memory is, the whole thing is put in a box like this. This is an IC is made. Okay. So if you want to see how this IC was made and things like that, then you can go back and see how the IC was made. Okay. Single memory 8-bit memory, single bit IC. This is a single bit IC. So how I created the IC, if you want to see, you can see the things. Okay. So this is the IC I've created. Okay. First thing, you have to go for that particular 8-bit, for 1 bit, I've created the memory IC, which has got a reset, a clock, a data out, data in, clock, and a D2 element. Okay. D2 element, what is the D2 element and other things, you can go back and see. Okay. Now this is what a D2 element looks like. This is the first one is data in, this is the D2, and this is the reset, and this is the clock. Okay. Clear or reset or clear. Okay. Then data in, and this is data out, data 2 out. We usually use data in. We never use data 2, but still we need for toggling other things for the memory locations. We need data in, data 2. Then we have a clear, we have a reset, and finally we have the data out, where we have what is the data that is coming out. Okay. This is the kind of 4 axis sequence. So that is what has been made into an IC. I told you already here. So we will go and check in the IC. That is what I have made it in a single IC like this. Okay. Reset, clock, reset, clear, data out, data in, clock, and D2. Okay. This is the kind of thing I have put in. Now I go back. Okay. So single memory we saw. Okay, that is a single bit IC memory, and we have an IC for that. Okay, integrated circuit for that. Okay, for single bit, and now we 8-bit. That IC I have imported those ICs, and I put it in serial, some kind of serial like this, and then I have designed an 8-bit IC integrated circuit. Okay, this is an 8-bit integrated circuit. If you see one of the elements is like this, and then one of the elements is, and I have copied all the single bit IC, 1 element, 2 element, and 3 element, and 4 element, up to 8 elements. And I have arranged them sequentially, and I have created an included toggle. Toggle is for setting the bits, whichever bit you want to set. Okay, for D0, D1, D2, the clocking circuitry and other things. For that I have used a toggle here. Okay, without a toggle you cannot set a bit or get a bit, or you cannot read the whole thing onto your, like if you do a data 1 clear, if you want to make an address bit of 8-bit bus, and from the 8-bit bus you have 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 1. Okay, that 8-bit is there. That 8-bit immediately you want to transfer into this 8 memory locations immediately. Then you can use this toggle for that, and from that toggle you can set the toggle, and immediately from the bus you can read directly into this memory locations, all the 8-bit data storage. Okay, this is the actual data storage which you have, and for each one of those units you have what is the data in, data out, what is the control, what is the clear, and other things. Okay, that we wanted to see how it works, but later we'll see the demo how it works. Okay, this is the kind of structures we are given. So after that I have created an IC for that. Okay, this IC, if you wanted to see how it looks like, you can see the IC. Okay, this is how I have created for an 8-bit data. I have created a memory IC. Okay, this memory IC is a 8-bit data IC. Okay, last time we saw 1-bit data memory IC. Now we are seeing memory IC for 8 bits together, and 8 bits if you want to write like 1011100010, like 8 bits if you want to write completely parallelly and write into a structure, then immediately you have a memory IC. Okay, that 8 bit can be just toggled in, and immediately from the bus you can just read it and write it, or straight away write it. Okay, so that is why we are using an 8 bit memory IO. Okay, that is why we are using. And what are the connections for that? That I have given here. Okay, reset, clear, then T1, then DR0, DR1, up to these DR0s are data read 0, data read 1, data read 2, and things like that. And T1 and T2 are the toggles for the output toggles. Okay, now reset and clear are the basic thing which does the clock sets the bits to 1 or 0, or clears all the bits or sets all the bits to 1 or 0. Okay, that is why we have a reset and a clear for clearing all the memory locations, and one for resetting all the memory locations to 1, all the 8-bit memory locations to 1, and clearing is for all the making the memory location to 0. That is why we have a clear. And then you have a T1 and T2, which is called the toggles, which are used toggle out and toggle in, where you can give the clock and other things. And DR0 is the read registers, and DW, D0, D1, etc. are the write registers. Okay, D0, D1, D2 are the data elements of the write registers, and DR are the read registers. Okay, read memory locations. Okay, D1, D2 are the write location, writing locations, and DR0 and DR1, those kind of things are all read locations. Okay, so I've given 8 read locations, 8 write locations for a single IC which I have created. The memory locations, you can read and write 8-bit data into it. You can write 8-bit data using the D0, D1, D2, etc. Okay, on the right you have the read element where you have the DR1, DR2, DR0, things like that. Okay, that is what I have created the IC for. Okay, now we go back. So this is the thing which you have created, the whole registers and other things, how the circuitry works, those kind of things. Okay, so you can go look up what are the kind of, first thing we used a flip-flop. Okay, from the flip-flop we produced IC, okay, for a single bit, which is a memory location, which is a single bit memory. Okay, for reading and writing into that memory locations, we made a circuitry. That is why we had 4 flip-flops, and from that 4 flip-flops we have made it a single memory location, and that memory location can be read or written into, depending on what kind of clocks you give, what kind of toggles you give, or what kind of data you want to set in. So that single bit is made into an IC. That single IC is here, and you have 8 such ICs, and their circuitry is made, and you can write anything into any of these memory locations, any one of the 8 memory locations using the toggle. Okay, this is a toggle you can write into any one of the 8 locations. So we have a 8-bit memory location. This is what we have done an IC for 8-bit memory location. That is why it is called a memory 8-bit IC. Okay, 8-bit IC. Now we are going into banks. From 8-bit, how do you test all this 8-bit? Let's see one of the things, how the things work. Okay, 8-bit IC. I have just done a 2-bit IC here. Okay, let's see how the things work here. Okay, first you have to give the input clock circuitry here. Okay, which gives the toggle on the left hand side. Now we turn on. Now we turn on this, nothing happens. Turn on this, nothing happens. Those kind of things. Okay, now I turn on this, nothing happens. Now I turn on this. So I am setting the first bit, nothing happens. I am not able to set. Okay, the light is not coming up. Okay, second bit I am trying to set, so I am not able to write into it. Okay, so this is a kind of things which you want to check first. Okay, so the bulb is not coming up, which means that you cannot write into it right now. Okay, only you can read it from there, and the reading is outside, you can easily read it. Okay, now I put on the toggle. Okay, now I just set the bits. Okay, now the first light is going on. Okay, you can see the yellow thing coming up. Okay, that is the first bit. Now I turn on the next one, second bit is turned on, and you have the yellow bit. So the four registers are working. I just wanted to show you a demo of the thing, how the toggles are working. I created, this is just 2 bits. Okay, that 2 bit I put it on 8-bit IC already, but this is a 2-bit demo kind of thing, which you can see how the things work and kind of thing. Okay, how the circuitry works kind of things. There's a clock, you have a toggle. So if the toggle is off, you cannot do a read write of the memory. So once I put the toggle off, this is the first one, which is the toggle off. Once I've switched off the toggle, then if you put it on or off, it doesn't make any difference. What was the previous state, that is just stays there. So whatever I do with the circuitry, nothing happens. Okay, I turn on the data bits or anything like that, nothing happens. I cannot do anything. Okay, so that is why. So once you toggle on this thing, okay, now I turn the toggle off, and now I try. So only then you can write. So that is the read write bit. So now I can switch it off, means it will be switching it off. So now I switch it off, means this is also switched off. Now I turn on, means I can turn on. Okay, now I turn on, this means the other one gets turned on. Okay, that's the kind of things. So there is a toggle thing, which is the control structure. So this is the control thing where you can read and write things. Once it is set, then you cannot do anything with the memory unit. Okay, it's just set right there. So that is why it is called memory. It gets latched onto that particular data state. So here it is one which is latched already. So once you can just read out from the memory locations. Okay, you cannot write into memory location. If you want to write into the memory, then you have to get it into the toggle. You have to turn on the toggle. So you have to put the right line high. Okay, so you give a right line high, and then you say that I want to write into memory location 1 and memory location 2. So you can just turn on the memory location 1 and memory location 2, and you can write into it. Otherwise you cannot. Once it is written, the things is held on like that. Okay, even if the toggle goes down. Okay, even if you say that the write has to be enabled to, but you can read from the other side. Okay, still it is 1 here on the end. So that is why you can read from the thing and from the other end. So you have a clock circuitry, which is the input for those things to do the toggling. Every time you do a toggle, or you want to kind of latch onto something and things like that, so first thing you have to use a toggle. Toggle will do some kind of latching onto every 1 second other things. So you can just do a toggle and then latch onto it, and the memory can be read or written into it. And because of the latches, it's just the voltage levels are held together. That is why you don't see any change much of the thing. Okay, but JK needs always SR gated needs a clock usually, and JK also needs a kind of clock usually to do the read and write. Okay, so this is a demo kind of thing. So let's go back. Okay, now we saw the single bit IC, then we saw the 8-bit, how we made the IC for that, and now we saw the demo of how a 2-bit IC works, and now we are going to testing a 8-bit IC. Okay, testing 8-bit IC. Let's check in what is in there. Okay, 8-bit IC. So once we have created all the 8 bits, you have all the 8-bit IC here. Okay, so this is the testing demo. I told you all the data read write locations are here, data write locations are here. Now we are going to test it. Okay, when you switch it on, okay, let's check it. When I switch it on, you can write anything into it. Okay, when I switch it off, you cannot write anything into it. Okay, say I switch it on. Okay, now I write something into it. The bulb comes up. Okay, on the right hand side. Okay, now if I switch it off, okay, I am not allowing it to write. So it means that the toggle is off. Once I switch it off, then the light is still on, but even I switch off the other, even if I take out the latch from the other side, take out the kind of a supply from the other side, then the current will be still there. Okay, so that is why it is stored. The memory is stored right there. So this thing, the memory location is not affected because you have the latch there. Okay, that latch is toggle is there. The toggle will hold you the memory location intact. Okay, only when the data enable is there, this is the data enabled switch. Only when the data enable is there, then the 0 bit 0 will come in. Now once you have set in all the things, then you can turn on all the data elements. So whichever bit you want to set, you can set. Okay, 8 bits you can write. So now the first location I have put a 1, the second location I put a 1, the third location left free. I didn't put any kind of, I put a 0. Fourth location 1, fifth location is 0, sixth, seventh, eighth is 1, 1. So totally I put 8 bits. Okay. On the right I see the lights going on corresponding to that particular 8 bits. That is the read kind of channel. Okay, read kind of channel that comes in. The clock is there. Because of the clock, it's able to. Now, if I turn it off, okay, turn off the enable, then it is disabling that particular memory location, not to write into anything into it. Just for write signal, the writing into the memory location is stopped. So once you stop the writing into memory locations, even if you put it on or off, trying to write into it, it won't affect anything. So I switch off everything, I switch on everything, I switch off whatever, I turn on whatever, nothing happens. Okay. On the other side, it's just stable, that read signal is still there, and the memory location got latched. Okay, that is the kind of thing you want to do. Okay, now if I turn off also, nothing will turn off because it is already set it. The memory location is already set it. Okay, now if I want to make the changes onto it, then what I do it, I turn on the write enable. Okay, once I turn on the write enable, it gets cleared because all the other things are 0. It just all the other things are 0 right now. Now I put a turn on, you can write whatever, whichever place you want to write, you can write it. Okay, once you have written all the things, then you can turn off the switch, then it's already there and you don't have to worry. Even if the other things are going off or on, depending on the data signal, because there is no data right into the memory, and only you can read from the memory, that other location you can just read it. Okay, this is how an 8-bit memory unit works. Okay, now once you have done an 8-bit memory IC, you have 8-bit memory locations up to D0, D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7, D8, D7, up to D7. You have the memory location. That is a kind of 8-bit memory location. You have to create a bus for that. Okay, this is just for testing. So we go out. Now we go into, we have created a bank now. What is the bank? Bank is an array of 8-bit elements. Okay, now this is the bank. Now we saw 1 bit. We have put it on an IC and created 8-bit memory location. Now we are going from the 8-bit memory location, we have gone into a bank. Okay, that 8-bit memory location is the memory. 8-bit bank is here, memory location is here, the first memory location is here. Okay, this is the 8-bit memory location, this is another 8-bit memory location. So we arrange put all the things together to form what is called a bank. Okay, this bank has got how many 8-bit register, 8-bit memory locations? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so totally 8 8-bit registers, 8-bit memory locations. So totally we have how many? Totally we have 8 into 8, 64. Okay, so this is a 64-bit memory bank. So you can store up to 64 bits in this memory location. So how to create an IC, how to make continuity. Still you can make memory location up to 64, 128 and things like that. But other things you have to give control signals on what bank you want to select, and finally you have to take out which memory location you want to access and those kind of things. Okay, this is the initial stage which you can have a look over. I just wanted to give a demo for these things so that you can have a look at how memory banks are created, how read-write locations are created, because last time we saw the processor has what is called a CMOS, or kind of like what was that, EEPROM, and you have DIA, data bank and things like that. So those kind of things are all here. Okay, memory locations on. So this is a simple memory location kind of things, which and other things I haven't done with how accumulator is made and how register is made. Those kind of things I've given a preliminary work earlier. Registers and all, they used what they use usually flip-flops. Okay, these memory locations they use usually what are called the latches. Okay, most of the latches are used in memory location. Most of the flip-flops are used in registers, counters, and things like that. Very fast elements, codec, and accumulator, and things like that. Okay, accumulator. What is other kind of registers? You have accumulator, then counter register, then those kind of things. Okay, stack registers. Those kind of registers will be using the other kind of memory units. Okay, they will be using mostly flip-flops. We have users latches, which means that we are using memory locations. Okay, this much is enough for today. I still haven't created a complete circuitry how to access all the bank, or how to make a circuitry, what is the timing circuitry you have to make, and how to access all the bank and get to a particular memory location, write onto the particular location, read from the particular location. 8-bit simultaneously, you can write 8 bits together from the data bus onto this memory locations. So you set the 8-bit to 00110 and immediately give the clock, immediately writes onto the particular memory location. Okay, this is the basic things of how to create a bank and things like that. Okay, memory bank and other things. Once you have created all this logic security, then you can do a processor design, then you have the memory bank design, then you have a register designs. Once you have done all the register designs and other things, the memory location, registers, and how to memory banks and other things, once you have done all the things, then finally it comes to clocking. Once you've done clocking, then it comes to what is called the control circuitry. So you have two things, clocking circuitry and control circuitry, which are control circuitry separately, like 8085, those kind of all timing and control circuitry. Okay, 8085 is a kind of timing, and there's another one which decoder encoder, that is a kind of another chip. Well, I don't know what is the name of it, 8029 or something like 8029 or 8048 or something like that. Okay, those kind of chips do what is called a the assembly decoding and control structures and other things. Okay, once you have done the control structures, bus access and things like memory locations and accumulators and other things, on the processor, arithmetic and logic unit. Arithmetic and logic unit usually are extremely fast. They are made only through using gates and other things. Okay, small elements of gates and other things, they make a register out of it, and then you can accumulate on the ALUs are extremely fast doing some kind of logical things. Okay, like if you give a 8-bit 10000 and then you give 1111, then they'll do the addition and then give out the result as 111101. Okay, so that is, once those two bits are added together, those two memory locations are added, finally the result is given. So that is addition memory. Then you have AND memory, logical creations like AND memory, OR memory, and other kinds of logical calculations. Okay, those that can be done by an ALU. Okay, so that is enough for today. So we have seen all the memory locations and other things. That's all for today. Okay. Next time, if you have control circuitry, I'll show you one of the control circuitry, mux, demux, and all those kind of things. We'll try to find out whether there's time. We don't have time, so I just wanted an introduction kind of things. That is enough for today. Thank you. Bye now.